Welcome back to my channel. I'm Shastine, your local Southwest Washington realtor, and I happen to be down here in downtown Vancouver on the waterfront, and it is a stunning fall day here in what us locals call the Couve. And I wanted to make a video for you today because, well, we all know that the interest rates have gotten a little bit higher. The market has changed this year. Not that house prices have gone up in every area or that the supply and demand has gone up drastically. Actually, these two things have some variables going on here in Southwest Washington, and which I'm going to go over with you a little bit later in this video, so you want to be sure to stay tuned. But what I do want you to know about is that there are some opportunities that aren't being talked about as much, especially when it comes to new build communities, which we are going to be getting into that right now. I want you to know that in these new build communities, house prices and incentives are starting to show up in a very, very big way. Because as we remember, during COVID, we had interest rates of around 3% and multiple offers, and new construction wasn't even an opportunity. Not to mention, inventory and build times were very, very behind when it came to new construction, which left buyers having to bid on pre-existing homes, having bidding wars of $50,000 to $90,000 over asking price even to compete. And that was just to have the opportunity to actually purchase a home. Believe me, those buyers back then would have killed to have the new builds, but there just wasn't enough back then. But now, things have changed. The builders have caught up. But the number of buyers, they've diminished because of the interest rates. And this increase in new build communities has caused builders to now offer low interest rate programs to buyers if they have, of course, an in-house lender. Not all builders do. With some, when they do, they can actually offer you under 5% fixed year, 30-year rate as an incentive, while others who don't have it are offering buyers of around $25,000 towards closing costs or a 2-1 buy down rate. But don't worry, as far as pre-existing homes, I am negotiating to have sellers give closing cost incentives that a buyer can use towards a 2-1 buy down, just like builders are doing. The only thing that you wouldn't have available to you, of course, would be the pre-existing interest rate, low interest rates of 5% that those, of course, builders are offering that traditional sellers wouldn't. So unless the loan is assumable, let's talk about that. There are some out there in pre-existing homes, but a lot of times you can only assume the amount that is assumable, which isn't always the actual purchase price that you're paying for the home. What is important to consider during this high interest rate period that we happen to be in is to not eliminate yourself from home ownership. Instead, allow me and some partners of mine to take a look at some special programs and options or incentives for you before you actually remove yourself from the opportunity. And there is a lot of homes in a lot of different areas where if you can take an advantage of the special incentives and also their programs that are available, it is a perfect opportunity for home ownership. Just so that you know, not all builders are offering the same incentives. There are some that can only offer $5,000 while others will offer $25,000 and others that can offer $30,000 incentives. And I will be able to actually point you to who those builders are, and more importantly, if they're actually building in the areas that you want. Anyone who talks with me and interest rates are a concern for them, one of the things that we are going to do is evaluate what areas that you want to be in. And secondly, we're going to dive into any new communities, and I'm going to point them to you so that you know when they're coming up and their affordability and when they're going to be available. And one of those areas that I actually want to talk about right now is Orchards, which is where it has had a huge renovation phase taking place with new grocery stores, restaurants, banks, and the new home communities. Well, you're not going to be too far from the downtown Vancouver, Portland Airport, or the major medical facilities. you're going to have, of course, mountain views, and you're going to be able to enjoy a little bit more space between you since we're kind of right on the cuff of Hawkinson and Brush Prairie. And it's also a plus because in these areas, home values have actually still gone up of around 5.8%. So you will still be able to take advantage of the builder's incentives and have the added benefit of not having to worry about any home maintenance issues for quite some time. And believe me, all of this really does help to take the sting out of either the home prices or the current interest rates. But let's say you want to purchase a home in an area where home values have seen a slight decrease in value, yet are still going to be able to see growth in the city and take advantage of those builders' incentives. Well, then you're going to want to move a little bit further north to La Center, which is about 25 minutes north of Portland, Oregon. And unlike the east side in East Orchards, where the median sales price is $634,000, in La Center, the home prices have adjusted, coming down to about 2.3%, making the median sales price at around $520,000. Now you're still going to have some stunning mountain views plus a continual city expansion out there, and it is recorded to actually have the lowest crime rate in Southwest Washington, so it's a great area. Also, it's good to know that I-5 is only about 10 minutes away from downtown La Center, and it also offers some great fishing and has a premier wildlife viewing area called La Center Bottoms. And this site is only one of 3 state-designated watchable wildlife spots in Clark County that has 314 acres that is county-owned, and it is absolutely beautiful. So even if you don't buy in La Center, you should definitely go and check it out. I just had a set of clients that just purchased in La Center, and they absolutely love it. Unfortunately, sad to say that the builder's incentives weren't going on then, so it is a great time to take advantage of the incentives and programs that will help to balance out those higher interest rates. Actually, I did just do a highlight video of a new community that just opened up in La Center right here. And you might want to check it out to see if maybe this is going to be a good community for you. And if, of course, you have any questions, certainly reach out. My information is below. I am a local realtor here in Southwest Washington. And even though I love to make these videos, I would love even more to have the opportunity to work with you. So don't hesitate to call, text, email me, any of that, and I would love to be able to hear from you. So let's talk about if you don't want a new home, and you might be a little bummed that you don't have all of these special perks that are being offered by builders because a pre-existing home, well, I did just get an update by an actual local lender of a new program that you can use on an existing home. And word on the street says that this loan can actually provide a down payment assistance for a 2-1 down buy down so that you don't have to have any down payment, and we can actually negotiate for the seller to even pay your closing costs so that you will actually have 0 out of pocket. So while, of course, there's some details in that, I'm not the lender, so you'll want to certainly reach out to me and I can point you to that person, and then you can have at least one incentive that will be available to you besides the standard 2-1 buy down that will help you with pre-existing homes. Now let's talk if you were wanting to break into the city life of downtown Vancouver, where I happen to be at along the waterfront, or maybe one of the historical homes or condos that are just not too far from the waterfront. Well, you will want to know that in the downtown area, this is the one area that hasn't seen a decrease in value. In fact, we've actually had an increase of 18.9% since last year's as far as the home values go, because there's a lot of development going on here. And the only new construction that is going in the area is going to be high-rise condos, either on or by the water, or renovated historical homes. Either one, you're going to pay a pretty penny for. So not all of the areas in Southwest Washington are we seeing a decrease in home values? And that's why it's important to not look at the general statements that you might be seeing posted on market update reports or NAR articles. Because if you did, it would actually tell you that Southwest Washington, being Clark County, Cowlitz County, also known as Vancouver, Washington, and its surrounding cities, it will tell you that the home values have decreased just below 1% at 0.80% to be exact. But like I have already noted just a few moments ago, East Orchards has seen a 5.8 increase, where La Center has seen a decrease by 2.3%, and downtown where I'm at has seen an increase of 18.9%. So my point being, each specific area or neighborhood within the city will have its own pulse on home values and market conditions. And a lot of that will have a lot to do with whether it's in the city or outside of the city, in an already developed area or in an area of expansion. And of course, let's not forget supply and demand. The amount of inventory that's available, of course, at the time that you're purchasing. All of these will play a factor in the long game of purchasing a home. But the advantages for you to know is, number one, where are future developments going in? Number two, where are home buyers migrating to? Because this is an indicator of something. Number three, what areas are home prices seeing adjustments in? And lastly, are there incentives being offered to buy or a special loan program that can make it affordable to get into home ownership? Because like you may have heard, you're going to be paying somebody's mortgage. And with Washington being number 8 as one of the most expensive places to rent, you might as well have it be yours. So reach out so that I can help you put in place home ownership and begin to have your money working for you while you live in it. And it's worth giving me a call, texting me, or emailing me to see how we can make that happen for you. Thank you so much for joining me. I know it has been so noisy out here because out here at the waterfront, even though it's beautiful, we have planes, trains, and bikes and boats galore. So it was really noisy, but I hope you like the view, and I hope you tune in for the next time I post every single week. And so be sure to stay tuned, hit the subscribe button so that you can be updated on the many different videos that I shoot regarding Southwest Washington. And until next time, have a great home buying and selling day.